All right, today we get to catch up with Kelsey Lober. I'm very excited to get to sit down with you today, Kelsey. Thank you so much for being willing to share with my students. And we're just going to start with you sharing what you were involved with in high school and, kind of the things that you remember from MHS.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. This is so fun to catch up. I was involved with FBLA. That was one of my favorites. I was the Southern Area President and this Illinois State Vice President when you're a Southern Area President, and then or President my senior year of the
Yeah.
state. So that was always one of my favorite things. Between that and soccer, I'm not much else. I did student council. I was traveling so much for soccer, though it was hard to play other sports.
Mhm.
Was president of the class when I was there. But really, it's kind of, suck up a little bit. But FBLA that was my main thing when I was there.
You were very committed to your soccer
Yeah.
program as well. FBLA, we had a good time traveling to Springfield and going to the leadership conferences. But your soccer, you would go to St. Louis through the week, right, for practice and things.
Yes, yeah. So I played high school soccer, so I played at MHS, and then our club soccer we played up here in St. Louis, and me and a few others, we traveled up here 3 times a week for practices, and then we'd be gone on the weekends too. So, but that was our way to play in college, and we all did, and it worked out, and so yeah, that was our ticket to it, and it wasn't fun for a while, and you're a teenager and you're like, I want to go hang out with my friends, or but it was so worth it. So
And well, that's exactly what I was going to lead to next. Is so after high school, you continue to play soccer.
yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind to share with us about your college experience and where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I ended up playing soccer at Bellarmine University in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a D2 school. I wish I could go back to, every single day. I think everyone says that they want to go back to college, but I really miss playing soccer. I played 4 years there. It was my entire life. It was kind of a culture shock whenever I stopped playing because, that was all I knew. But I got a double major in business administration while I was there, and then it's called foreign language and international studies. So I got a double major. Spanish is really what I got out of the foreign language major. Then I got to study abroad while I was in college. I really, really recommend that to people who are in college. I only went on a 6-week program, and I was in Mexico, so I wasn't on another continent, but it was amazing, super eye-opening. You really appreciate the things that you have, at home, and I really recommend that to anybody who has any interest. It doesn't even have to be, foreign language. You could go anywhere. It's a great experience. And then in college, I kind of, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for work. I had an internship with UPS in their business development, which I basically just worked under their sales team and did anything and everything that they needed, their inside sales team. And then my senior year, I worked for them for a summer and then a school year and another summer. And then my senior year, I worked for Greater Louisville Inc., which is Louisville's Chamber of Commerce. I thought, because at that point I had decided I wanted to go to law school. I didn't exactly know if I wanted to get my MBA or if I wanted to get my law degree. And so I decided the law route. And so that's why I went through this internship with the Chamber of Commerce, because I was like, maybe I need to do something that's a little more geared towards law. And I actually just did a lot of research for them on different bills that they were trying to get passed and different advocacy points. So that was a really good experience too. And then I ended up in law school. I'm in St. Louis now. I'm just finished my 2nd year of law school. I only have one more, which is terrifying. But yeah, one more year of law school. To think that this time next year I'm going to be studying for the bar exam is terrifying.
it I of course I'm a 50-year-old woman, but it's amazing how fast the time does go, right? Like when you were sitting as a senior in high school saying, oh man, 7 years of school from here,
Oh
like
yeah,
how can I
it's
do
just
that?
I saw Mrs. Cameron the other day, and she was telling me that homecoming is Harry Potter themed, and I was like, wasn't that just like a couple years ago? She goes, well, it's been like 6 years. I was like, wow, I feel old. Thank you.
That's exciting. I didn't know that. That's good
Oh
to
yeah,
know.
maybe I wasn't supposed to tell.
No, I don't know. I'm sure it's out. So that's exciting. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just goes so fast. And I think it's really neat that you did the internship with the chamber down there, because it kind of coupled the business background with the law. And law, I feel like, is a lot like accounting in that it offers a lot of different avenues for you to take, you know, kind of depending upon your circumstances or your interests. So what direction do you think you'll go once you graduate? I know that that may change, but I mean, what are you thinking?
So, like you said, the reason I went, I mean, of course, I've been told my entire life I need to be an attorney because I can argue with the wall. But uh, going the law school route, like you said, it has so many opportunities because I do really, really enjoy business. And that's always been something that I love and I feel like I'm good at. And so I was like, well, I can get my law degree. And then that opens up a million doors. So when I first started law school, I thought I wanted to be in-house counsel somewhere eventually. And I think that that's still maybe something I want to do. But the problem with that is that you can't really do that right out of law school. You have to go into a firm first.
Gotcha.
I don't think I want to do the transactional route, like contract drafting or anything like that. I really think I do want to be in the courtroom, which is kind of off the wall for me because I went into law school thinking I didn't want to be in the courtroom because it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of a dying trade. There's not as many court cases that are going in. It's not like, you know, the movies or the TV shows, but there's still a lot of flexibility with the route I can go with that as well. I mean, you can do, you know, represent a corporation and do their workers' comp in a corporation. You could still be in the courtroom. So I don't know. I definitely don't want to do like family law or anything like that. So I know what I don't want to do more than I know what I do want to do. So
Yeah. And those things tend to work themselves out. And as I've done these interviews, it's neat to see as people initially graduate, they're much more of a generalist, and then over time their specialization kind of organically happens, you know,
right.
whether they're in accounting or finance or insurance or whatever. I talked to someone the other day who, you know, was specializing in a certain area of risk management. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't even know that existed, you know.
Right.
So I have no doubt you'll be successful, and things will make themselves known to you as you go along. But it's really cool to see. So I realize you're not fully working, but you are working part-time. Is that right? Or are you interning somewhere? Or
Yeah, so last summer they do it. You're not allowed to work your first year of law school, and then they you interview for internships for the summer after your first year. And so I'm working at a firm. I'm at the same one in St. Louis. It's Evans and Dixon. It's downtown St. Louis. They're big in employment law, workers' comp. They have some civil litigation stuff. So I ended up staying on with them after the summer, and I'm working for them again this summer. Right now, I'm not working because of COVID, but I actually do get to go back next week, which will be nice, and
good.
get some part-time hours in. And yeah, I work full-time during the summer, but then 10 to 15 hours a week during the school year.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah,
So
more than.
So what are some of the things that you would do now, or you can talk about, you know, once you're settled in full time, whichever angle you want to take it, but what would like a day in the life be like, either while you're in law school and working, or, you know, once you're working full time? What are some of the skills that you use? What's important to know about that?
Well, definitely, I think if anybody's thinking about law school, time management obviously is a huge, huge skill. But if you are thinking about law school, get your reading skills where you want them to be, your reading and your typing skills. I will forever preach this, that the typing skills, keyboard classes that we took in high school, they have saved me. I mean, our finals are timed finals, and so you have to be able to just crank it out.
Mhm.
So I think that those are huge, huge skills. If you're, just a lot like your first year of school when you're not working, you are going to class and you are reading 100 pages a day to prepare for the next class. That's why the first year they don't really let you work, is because there is so much homework that you have to do in preparation for class. And it's like that transition where you go from high school to college where you're like, oh, this is how you're supposed to study. There's another transition from college to graduate school where you're like, oh, this is really how I'm supposed to study. So it was an adjustment for that. But then once, so like when I'm working full time, I'm going in the office every day, which now that may be changing too. We may be working from home a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's really time management and being able to adapt to getting a bunch of activity or assignments at once, and being able to delegate, okay, this one's more important, or this one's going to take me 5 minutes, let me do this real quick, or this one I need to prep for before I even start the assignment. So I think really time management, like I said, is a huge one, but also being assertive, which I think sounds kind of weird, but as an intern, you want to be really respectful and learn as many things as you possibly can, but don't be afraid to ask for more work or to say, I would like to learn more about this. Can I do something more in this area? Because I'm in workers' comp up here. That's who I work for. The attorneys are all in work comp. But I've really started as of late asking for some more civil work, just because the attorneys, they don't realize that they're just giving you the same stuff over and over again. They're just utilizing you for the skills that they've taught you. So I think it's really important for people to not be afraid to go ask for something different or just ask for more work in general. I would say that those are the biggest skills for any graduate school, but especially law school, is just staying on top of tasks
Mhm.
and really learning how to navigate through having multiple things on your plate at once.
Yeah, I mean, those time management skills never go away, and being able to prioritize tasks. I feel like the busyness of high school is a good time to start learning those, to figure out, because kids are involved in so much
Right.
a lot of the times. And then when they get to college, they kind of narrow their focus, but they still have to learn to prioritize.
Right. I think it's easier in high school to prioritize because, you have, so many activities after school, and then you have to go home and you're like, okay, well, I have to do my homework. Have to do my
Yeah.
homework. Most people do. There were times I did it in the hour before. It
There are
happened.
people that say I can do it in the morning or during lunch or during such as class. I'll do my homework for another.
Yeah.
No, that happened.
Yeah. No, but I
You don't
mean,
do that in college, though, right? You don't sit and do other teachers' homework while you're in someone else's
no,
class.
no, no, no. Mm-mm. That's a no-go.
You didn't do that. I'm just saying, like, I mean, but by people, I mean, people don't generally do that.
Yeah, no, it's real though. I mean, you get to college, you have all this free time essentially that you're sitting in your dorm and you're like, hey, I'll do that later, and you really do have to learn really fast how to
Mhm.
prioritize. Which I think athletics helped me with that big time. I mean, because soccer's the fall semester, so I went straight into it. I really didn't have any time to not do something,
Yeah.
and so, but I mean, there always comes a time in college, like spring semester for fall sports, you learn that, okay, well, I do have a lot of free time and I can't wait until, the day of to study for a test anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Very true. Very true. Well, so if we were traveling back in time and you were talking to Kelsey, um, as a junior or senior at Marion High School, what are some things that you think would be important for you to know or for my students today to know?
I think that if I could go back, I would tell myself to give yourself a lot of options, which sounds, I guess, I don't know, not too weird, but I think that a lot of options in applying for different schools. Mine, which it turned out great. Mine kind of got, I had one option because of my ACL. With playing soccer, I really only had one option of a school to go to. But I think that and I did this with law school, like students should apply to anywhere you possibly can or anywhere you think you might want to go. A lot of options just for that, because schools are so different and you might have something in your head that you want to go do. Like I always thought I wanted to go to some huge D1 school and play soccer for some, nationally ranked team. Well, I did that, but it was a D2 school. We were in the top 10 in the country for 2 years. And I would have never known that had I not, tore my ACL and ended up at the school I did. And I think that goes the same for classes. Don't peg yourself into, one hole where you have to only take, chemistry classes or only take business classes. I think that everyone should take a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't know until you get there. And then the worst that can happen is, oh, well, I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one of the biggest things that I would go back and say.
Especially this has come up more than once. Marion, we have so many classes that we offer, and kids should take advantage because they're free,
Right.
and explore your options while you're here to see if what you're interested in. You might stumble upon something that you truly love that you wouldn't have known about had you not tried. So
right. Yeah, you guys, and you may have more classes even since I've been there, but I can remember when I took investments with you, everyone knows that that's a fun class because you get to, go on the marketplace or watch or whatever it is and do the game. But you really learn so much in that class. I was like, ooh, I think I really like business. That was kind of my, open the door. And I also took, the AP chemistry and hated it and struggled. But before I took that, I thought I maybe wanted to do pharmacy. And then I took that and I was like, not for me.
not my gig.
Yeah, but it's true though. Like the Marion has so many different options that, why wouldn't you take advantage of it now?
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Well, it's just really so much fun for me to get to see where people are and what they're doing and just watch their continued success and growth. And I can't thank you enough for taking time
Absolutely.
to share with my students today, Kelsey. I know they'll enjoy hearing from you. And I know I think a lot of adults are really enjoying watching these when I post them on Facebook to see.
I've enjoyed them.
And so yeah, I know that people are going to enjoy catching up with you. So thank you very much for taking time to do this.
Absolutely. Loved it.